Hey everyone, Ivy Lee Gaming here, and today we're playing Watcher of Realms. For today's video, we're gonna do should you summon, or more like when should you summon. This one's really important. Alright, so the calendar did pop and show the upcoming events related to Dahlia and beyond. And there's some interesting stuff that we really need to discuss. I'm going to do my best to do so clearly and concisely and somewhat quickly if possible, but we know how that goes. I'm going to try to explain these scenarios and why you should not pull on Wednesday. You definitely should wait till Friday if you're going to summon for Dahlia as well. So the guaranteed banner has officially shown here. It's a 15 times plus a guarantee. So you can pull Dahlia before you hit the 250 summons. So if you want this character, even if you don't have 250 summons, it's still the same as pulling on any other 15 times rate up event. So you might as well pull if you want this character. Now, we know there's a lot of heroes in the works. There's a lot of crazy banners coming to the game. We know there is a Nora, who is also going to be a guaranteed hero. So if you want Aurora, wow. Aurora, wow, all the names. I don't even know her name anymore. Yeah, Anora. I had to double check because I'm like, is there Aurora? Alright, Anora is the 27th. She's the 12th starting for these events. So both heroes are going to be good for the sake of AoE damage. Anora has her dragon, Labor, the doppelganger of Ymir, that is going to be summoned and do AoE damage, plus she has AoE at her basic. And then we have Dahlia here, that is also a mage, and she brings AoE damage on her basic, and her ultimate's pretty interesting as well, but she does have this quirky range, which has been a topic of conversation. Doesn't mean it's bad though. I bet she'll be surprisingly amazing and we're just underrating her, honestly. I really think she's probably underrated the more and more I think about her. She's got such a unique kit. She brings damage over time, and I really like with poisons, and I really like the sound of her overall. I think we're just probably not giving her a fair shot. And honestly, when it comes to Anora, we found out some things I've heard people already saying, and I've already looked at her kit as well. We know she cannot work with buffs, so she cannot be invigoration buffed and or buffed by Dolores. And she also does not work with rage regen apparently. I don't know if that's a bug or it's intended, but I'm already hearing people talk about that. So it might make Anora a little less exciting now that we know these things, but I think Anora is still pretty busted sounding overall even without those considerations. Her dragon summon sounds really cool, and the fact that she buffs summoners. So it's just a completely different kit and still really quirky. She has her bond skill with Ymir. So you kind of got to decide if you can't summon for both heroes with a 250. Oops, there's a lily in the background. Pause. But yeah, anyway, both heroes are really quirky when it comes to Dahlia or Anora. Both are really interesting. So you just kind of got to decide if there's one you want to go for versus the other. If you cannot afford to summon for both within a short time period, within the same month, it is a small time window. So I understand a lot of people have to choose. And what you choose will really depend on, I don't know, I mean, it's a personal decision. I can't really make that decision for you when it comes to should you summon for which one. I feel like it's so account dependent. I think Dahlia is going to be really good in Gear Raid 1 if you haven't cleared it yet. And if you don't have maybe Comet or Vierna or like what? I guess Boreas is still very viable there. She's probably going to be a lot better than using a Zealous or even an Ajax because he's so expensive to place. But I guess he got a little bit of a buff there, so maybe you'd use him instead. But yeah, she's really cool, really great potential, and it's a fun hero. But yeah, let's say you do want to summon for her. You've decided on Dahlia, or you decided you're going to do both. And you're excited because it's tomorrow, it's Wednesday. you should not pull on Wednesday if you have more than 250 summons, or if you have about 200 summons saved and you're you know you're going to be selling the rares and getting more diamonds to get that 250. Well, in that case, the reasoning to wait till Friday is for people that have more, people that have enough to go 250 and beyond, and considering extra rewards you're going to get over the weekend, I guess, and with selling rares. This is the big thing which I'm going to talk about. So in other events, we've done this before, and this is a really cool banner because we have a new hero coming in, Magda, who's really neat. She looks amazing. I mean, really cool design, right? Magic Fighter. We always want that because we don't have a lot of those quite yet, and she's really, really cool. I really think she's going to be pretty viable. She's not like the top tier fighter, but she's different, and I think a lot of people will want to have her on their account. So if you want to get a copy of Magda, hopefully, or a chance to, and you want to summon for Dahlia, you can do the trick with kind of getting more for your pity that we've done in other guaranteed events. So I'm going to try to describe this as quickly as I can. It's really hard to explain, more easier to show, I guess. But the reality is, if you pull on this banner, and let's say 250 guaranteed, you know, let's say you're at pity, you're at 0. The last thing you pulled was a legendary. All right, and you're up to 170, 180 summons pulled, no legendary on this guaranteed banner. If you switch to this banner, pull 10, 20, 30 more, get your guarantee from your pity, then you can hopefully get a Magda. Then, once you're done with that, you come back to this banner and you pull the 50, 60, 70 more that you need to get your guaranteed Dahlia. So that means you're getting 2 heroes guaranteed within, you know, a shorter pity count, I guess. Like where if you just pull here until you get a guaranteed legendary, you could accidentally, like, you know, with your pity, you're going to hit Dahlia, or you're going to hit a legendary before you hit 250. So if that legendary happens to be Dahlia, you just wasted a cheap pity count, you know what I mean? Like, let's say you pulled Dahlia at 200. You could have gotten Magda at your 200th pull instead, that only had to pull 50 to get a Dahlia, versus having potentially 200 or more for your next legendary pull. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, the plan would be, again, pull until you're at whatever your pity count is on this banner, until you're maybe at 170, 180. I don't know. Some people go to 190 or 200. I think at 180 is kind of my comfort of where I'll pull till. And then I'll switch to this banner, pop a legendary. After I get one legendary from this banner, go back to this banner, and then just get up to getting my guarantee, which you could still get more along the way there as well. You never know. So that's just the way to get more out of your pity counter of, you know, 200 starts the pity, the increased rates for dropping a legendary, and at 220 you're guaranteed one. So instead of just accidentally taking 220 summons to get a Dahlia instead of 250, you're getting more for that amount of summons spent, you know, within 2 pities. You're getting more out of it, potentially. RNG could be in your favor, and you could get a whole bunch of legendaries along the way. That's also the reality. But if you, let's say you pulled on this banner, and within the first few 10 pulls, whatever, you just got Dahlia, obviously you wouldn't go back there and try. You can't get another Dahlia. So do remember, with the guaranteed event, you get one, the guarantee is no longer in effect. So keep that in mind as well. So really it just comes down to pulling on Friday if you can. I would say if you have more than 200 summons, do the banner trick here between Dahlia and try to get a Magda. And if you don't have that many summons, let's say you only have 50, maybe 100, and you want to test your odds with the 15 times event to get Dahlia, well, just pull on the Dahlia banner, and it is what it is. But yeah, that's kind of the decision there, is if you have enough, try to go for both. If you don't, then just go for whichever one you want. And if neither one of these characters are what you want, if you want Anora more, because you want to get Anora with her bond partner, hopefully, that's the goal for everybody, but it's going to be very unlikely because of Ancients, which we'll talk about in a second. Well, I mean, you can obviously just not summon at all this weekend, right? That's also a reality. Speaking of summons, we have an Ancient Summoning banner, and we know that with Anora is her bond pairing of Ymira, and that is going to be an Ancient Summoning banner the same weekend she's out. So don't pull Ancients this weekend if you want Ymira or Valderon. Just saying, that is an upcoming banner that we're very aware of, and yeah, that's something you want to save for. We've also seen a Praetus banner in the discussions and the leaks. So if you want Praetus more than you want Valderon or Ymira, well, you're going to want to save for whenever that comes. That should be soon as well, as there is also another new hero which we've been talking about on that banner too. So keep those things in mind for this. But also, I gotta say what I always say when it comes to should you summon videos is if you are a brand new player and you're just starting your account and you don't have many legendaries at all, you absolutely should pull this weekend. Of course you should pull this weekend. Whether you pull for Dahlia or the Magda Constance banner, that's up to you. If you want to take the gamble, I think it's worth taking a gamble on a cool character. Or again, you could, if you want to wait a couple weeks, if you're a super, super patient player and you want to wait until the 26th, 27th, whatever that was, for Anora, then you can do that as well. And hopefully you'll have some Ancients to summon by then too. And you can maybe get her bond partner. But all right, guys, that is the discussion for this. Personally, if you had to choose between Dahlia and Anora, even though Anora we're finding out is a bit quirky, I think she's a little bit more interesting with the summon stuff. But I have a feeling we're going to regret not getting a Dahlia. So I was saying I would pull for Anora instead of Dahlia, but I feel like we might be underestimating Dahlia the more I think about her. She's just really interesting. Plus, now do consider the fact that Anora cannot be rage regen boosted. Or, again, that might be a bug. I don't know. But if it's intended, along with her not being able to be buffed, then it does hurt her kit a lot. So that might make Dahlia a little bit more appealing to people now that we know that about Anora. But all right, guys, I think both characters sound amazing. I don't think we're going to lose either way. Pick whichever one you just like better as well. That's at the end of the day, it's a game. Have fun. Oh, and I'll see you in the next video.